Hello, and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. Over the years, a lot of Canadians have told me they wish it was more legally acceptable to carry a weapon here in Canada. One reason people provide is out of a concern for their personal safety. They say, I want to be able to defend myself against either the general dangers or sometimes against specific dangers. For example, a woman might say, listen, my ex is crazy, he's stalking me, he's violent, he's insanely jealous, and I want to be able to protect myself in case he does something. So that's a concern for personal safety. But lots of people are also concerned for other people's safety. They say, I want to be able to protect my family. I want to be able to protect my friends. I want to be able to protect anyone who might need it. If I come across somebody who's being violently attacked and is at risk of injury or death, I don't want to be in a situation where I can't intervene because I don't have the tools. And think about that. Think about the helplessness you'd feel in that moment where you see somebody, again, being injured or killed, and you can't do anything. Think about the guilt after the fact. You know, if trying to deal with that maybe you could have done something, that'd be tough to live with. So thinking about things like that, I've decided to add something to my own everyday carry, and you might want to consider doing the same. And that is this. Now, if you can't read this because it's a small screen, this is an Naloxone injection kit. Now, a lot of people say, listen, I don't really hang out with the kind of people who will need a Naloxone injection. And a few things. First, you don't really hang out probably with the kind of people who are most likely at risk for violence either. However, you also don't know who's going to need this. There's a lot of opiate use that is covert that you may not know about. You know, your coworkers might be using opiates without you knowing. Similarly, your family might be using opiates without you knowing. I've talked to a distressing number of parents whose first indication that their child was experimenting with or using opiates was when their kid had an overdose. And I will tell you that they describe those feelings of helplessness as you're sitting there watching your child's life slip away, and there's not a whole lot you can do other than wait for the paramedics to get there. That's an incredibly long wait when somebody's life is on the line. So you don't necessarily know. The other thing is that you may encounter somebody you don't know who's suffering from, an addiction or suffering from an overdose. And those people deserve your compassion as well. You may not know them. You may sort of have all sorts of notions of what got them to that point. But I've dealt with a lot of people dealing with addiction issues, and often what gets them there is trauma. But especially with opiates, a fair number of people get there through, they get an injury and they're prescribed opiates. And the course of the injury sort of changes their life because they might have been, for instance, a roofer or an iron worker or somebody who really defines themselves through their work. And now that's taken away from them. They're dealing with an injury. They don't have those coping mechanisms. Their life has probably changed dramatically for the worse. And it can be really hard for them to get off of those opiates. And that's a path that unfortunately leads some people to addiction. There's also the circumstance that people who are taking their medication in accordance with their prescription don't realize that certain drug interactions can be extremely dangerous with opiates. One sort of really common example is opiates plus alcohol. Those two combine to have a much greater effect than the opiates and the alcohol would on their own. So sometimes people end up in overdosing situations, not because they're taking too many opiates, but just because they didn't realize what they shouldn't take them with. So all of these are possibilities. Now, there's a lot that's sort of in this little kit. It comes with a little sort of semi-hard case to protect the contents, but it also includes a fair number of other things here. The first is a CPR mask. And what this is it's a biological barrier that's intended to allow you to provide rescue breathing safely with somebody you don't know. And you don't know if there's biological contamination issues, but this allows you to provide that rescue breathing without being concerned for that. There's also gloves for the same reason. If there's bodily fluids going on, if there's some other issue, you don't want to necessarily touch that, so the gloves will protect you. It also includes antiseptic wipes for both the ampules themselves and for the injection site. And of course, the key bit is the naloxone, which comes in 3 sort of pre-measured doses so that you don't have to do any fiddling around in terms of measuring. You just give them, first 1 whole ampule. And if that doesn't work, you sort of continue rescue breathing for a while and then give them another one. You can then also provide all of this to the paramedics when they arrive so that they can say, hey, there's 2 used, 1 not used. We know exactly what's gone into this person and they can take over. Of course, you're going to want to get the paramedics on the line. You're there sort of holding the fort, waiting for the cavalry to arrive. It comes with 3 separate syringes. You might be saying, why do you need 3 syringes? Because couldn't you just keep using the same one? Not really. These are safety syringes. So they're designed so that once you've injected the last of the naloxone, the actual needle point retracts, and that's to help prevent needle stick injuries. So this is a very sort of safe kit. You don't want to be careless, of course. There's always the possibility that that function could malfunction in some fashion. So you want to be cautious for the same reason you wouldn't point a gun at somebody and say, oh, it's okay, the safety is on. But they have put a lot of thought into both how to help somebody, but also how to protect yourself while doing it. When you go and get this, it comes with, they'll walk you through how to use it. So listen to them. If I've said something that is different than what they tell you, listen to them. They also recommend that your first step in all of this is to call 911 so that you can have the 911 dispatcher walk you through it. And you want to do that for the same reason, even if they walked you through it when you were getting it, same reason why a lawyer who's in trouble with the law would call another lawyer. You want somebody who has a clear head, who can walk you through it dispassionately and is not sort of caught up in the adrenaline of the moment. Now, you might be wondering, what does all this cost you? And if you're here in Alberta, the price is the grand total of $0. You can have one of these simply for walking into a pharmacy that's part of the program and telling them you want one. They don't collect your ID, they don't anything. It's just, here you go. And they'll walk you through how to use it. So this is one of the things that you can do that might really meaningfully increase your chances of saving somebody's life. I've talked to people over the years, again, who have wished they had this and not had it. This is one of those things where it's better to have it and not need it. I mean, I really hope that I do not need it. I hope that this expires and I get another one and it expires unused and so on and so on. But if you need it, you'll be glad to have it. And there really is, there's no parallel to it. There's no equivalent. There's no alternative. This is the gold standard in those sorts of circumstances. So as I said, I'm going to start carrying one of these around. You might want to consider if that's something you want to do as well. The one sort of caution they give is these aren't really great to carry around in a car because they are subject or sensitive to temperature. So a car gets very hot and that can denature this. Now, if you have carried it in a car and you're worried that this might not be any good, they still say, you know what, if you have naloxone that might have been overheated or might be expired, it's still better to give them that than nothing. So that's still better than nothing if that's sort of your only alternative. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of share that with you to encourage, people to think about this. If you're a parent with sort of teenage kids, you might want to just go and get one and throw it in your medicine cabinet and hopefully forget about it. Hopefully. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you'll consider it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like this video. Please share it with your friends. I think this is a bit of an important topic. There's lots of opiate deaths happening right now. I can tell you that there isn't a criminal defense lawyer I know of who hasn't seen a client die as a result of an opiate overdose. It's endemic right now. So please share this. I think it's a worthwhile message. And yeah, please subscribe if you want to see more content. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level: Sir Daniel Wicks of Alberta, Jason Elliott, Canada's National Firearms Association, Kyle Martin, Jean-Guy Toussaint, Ivo Nedev, CCFR, BCAMF.org, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. At the $30 level, Sights and Arms Limited and Marc-Olivier Damour. And at the $20 level, Matt Ward, Mark Whittington, Dale Nesbitt, Cameron Johnson, Andrew Elsich, and Adam Meester, as well as everyone at the $10 level who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you for watching. I hope this has armed you with knowledge, and see you next time.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning, time to go. Got that smile upon my face, 'cause there's excitement in the chase, this I know. Yeah, I'm going